Not all motivation is light and cheerful. So how do you use dark motivation to your advantage? Stay tuned and find out.
Welcome.
Okay, here's the question.
You serious?
How are we dark horses? You know, the ones everyone is betting against, the ones they don't expect to win, place, or even show on the track, and they'll even laugh on us when we talk about trying. How do we show the world our greatness and triumph?
Come on.
Well, that's the question, and this podcast will give you the answers.
Let's go.
This is The Dark Horse Entrepreneur. My name is Tracy Brinkman.
And push it up.
What is up? What is up? What is up, my Dark Horse friends and family? Welcome back to your ongoing dose of dark motivation learning. I'm your Dark Horse host, Tracy Brinkman. And you, well, that, my friend, is infinitely more important. You are a driven entrepreneur, or perhaps you're just one in the making. Either way, you're here because you're ready to start, restart, kickstart, or just start leveling up with some great marketing, personal, or business tips and results in order to build that beautiful business of yours into the empire it absolutely deserves to be. That's why I'm here hitting you with yet another solo success episode coming to you straight from the Dark Horse HQ as we dive deep into success with actionable advice, tips, and steps to help you level up your game. Your speaking game, I need to level it up, obviously. Your business game, your relationship game, your spiritual game. Because as we already know, there are no shortcuts to success except for taking those little steps toward your goal every single day. Now, one of those little steps I'd like you to take if you're getting value from this podcast, the episodes that I'm bringing you, the solo ones, or any of the guests and any of the gold that they're bringing to you, please go on down there and let's tell those podcast platforms out there that you are getting that value. And the way you do that is by going on down there and hitting that subscribe button. And while you're there, go ahead and leave us a 5-star rating, and then go ahead and drop some kind words in the reviews. Heck, give me some constructive criticism. Give me some suggestions. Ask questions. I read every single one of those reviews, and it is those subscribes, ratings, and reviews that those podcast platforms used in their algorithms to help lift us up in the rankings so that we can reach more driven entrepreneurs just like yourself. So please take a moment, show the love, and help spread the word. I definitely appreciate you. So Monday, or in episode 245, for those of you that aren't following this chronologically, Carissa Adkins was talking about finding motivation in the murk during part of our conversation. You might want to go check that out. Again, that's episode 245, Carissa Adkins. And it made me think of some times when I found motivation in the darkness. You know, because everyone's talking about, motivation is happy and unicorns and rainbows and roses. No, life isn't always rainbows, unicorns, and roses and lollipops and sugar plum fairies or all that noise. Life can be dark. So I want to come at you from a real point of view, is that sometimes you have to flip that darkness into some motivation. Now, I can think back on a couple of times. I think probably the last time that I flipped some darkness into some motivation was during a divorce. I was going through a pretty nasty divorce, and I remember seeing a post from my to-be ex. And, it was one of those posts about, life is going to be so much better, yada, 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 yada. And it's like, you get angry, you get pissed off. You're like, you know what? Screw you. When you've done the things that you've done for X number of years, whatever X number of years might be in your scenario. I know for me, it was 20 plus years to provide a home and a roof and a place where people can grow up and kids can be raised and go on to be productive parts of society. You're like, screw you. I turned that anger, that pissed offedness, that darkness inside of me into motivation to lift myself up, to lift my station, to improve the role I was playing in life, to stop playing small, right? I was using that darkness as a motivator. And I took that motivation and I sat down with my journal and I wrote down, first off, I wrote down what kind of woman do I want in my life? What kind of special lady do I want in my life? And once you get past all the obvious things, the eye candy part. So I wanted her to be thin, I wanted her to have long hair, and I wanted all those things. Well, then you start reaching down deep, right? And you start thinking about, the heart of the person, the soul of the person. What kind of person are they in their day-to-day lives? And I wrote all that down. And then I started writing down the kind of work I wanted, right? How I wanted to serve. And I started taking that darkness and I started shining some light with that darkness, right? So as you think, as you can tell, dark motivation can be a form of motivation that can be based off a certain urge to improve yourself, a certain urge to get things done in any way possible. However, that could be caused by light motivation. However, these feelings are usually based off some sort of negative impetus, right? And this negative impetus can be, and trust me, I'm telling you from experience here, very, very powerful. It's really natural for us as human beings to feel insecure or jealous or have that urge to compare ourselves to others. And those others could be our parents, our siblings, our peers, right? Our co-workers, those that you engage with at meetings, whatever it is. You are going to have to let go of those feelings. But I don't want you to let completely go of those feelings until you've turned them into a great resource. Now, mind you, this is a fine line to walk, right? And if you got any kind of concerns about mental issues or personality issues, don't walk this line without some professional advice. I am not a therapist, a professional therapist or psychologist of any kind. I'm just kind of telling you my experiences of using my past abyss and darkness as a motivator. So, as I flash back to the story I was telling you, right? I saw that post. I instantly, as a result of all those negative feelings, wanted to move forward. I wanted to make progress in my life. I was like, all right, you almost feel like, man, I've wasted so much time as a result of those feelings. And you're kicking yourself in the butt and you're smacking yourself in the head. My subconscious really wanted me to feel good as a result of the negative emotions that were stirred up by that post. And one of the best ways for me, I personally believe, to start feeling good is to start improving yourself somehow, some little way, some little motivator, some little step forward. Now, dark motivation is very powerful. It is a very powerful way to get you to motivate yourself to step out of that damn comfort zone. You've heard me talk about this before. And usually I'm telling you just to lean out just a little bit. And that way your comfort zone will grow a little bit bigger. That way you can lean out a little bit more later on and keep growing your comfort zone. I often find when you get this dark motivation, you're more willing to jump out of your comfort zone entirely with both feet and start pushing towards your goals a lot faster. You think about it. The pain of mine, maybe just sitting home, feeling blah about myself. Oh my God, I'm going through a divorce. No. Right? That post, that situation pushed me to say, you know what? To hell with this. I'm going to jump in with both feet and I'm going to make shit happen. Now, as you probably are very aware of, and I know it's most of the people that listen to this particular podcast, pretty damn intelligent, right? I'm pretty lucky in that fact. But let me take a brief moment to explain dark motivation can pretty much be any negative emotion. I mentioned some of them, but there's jealousy, right? Maybe I was a little jealous. I don't know. Maybe I was a little insecure. Maybe I was a little anxious. I was definitely uncomfortable. Any of those things like that are going to help you create or can be used to create that dark motivation. Maybe you see someone that not too long ago was a little doughy around the middle, and all of a sudden you see them again. They're like, not ripped, but they're much better shape, right? Maybe it's an old girlfriend and they had that extra spare tire, and you see them, they're all like hourglass, and you're like, damn, you look good. that could create some dark motivation inside you. Maybe you're fired from a job, right? Many of us been there myself, raising my hand here. You're fired from your job, and you know what? I'm going to prove you wrong. You're thinking to yourself when you're talking about your ex-boss, and you go out there looking for that better job, not the same. You want to ratchet up so that you can look back and maybe, thumb your nose at them. Metaphorically speaking, maybe you even want to do it physically at the same time. So you get out there and you start brushing up your office skills, your social skills, your personal skills, so that you can find that leveled up opportunity, be it a relationship opportunity in the case of seeing an old friend or ex that's looking good, or, wanting to thumb your nose at that boss. But at the end of the day, this dark motivation really relies 100% on negative emotions. Some people could even call this a little childish, a little immature. Yeah, that's okay. It's natural for us, and you can define and use them to your advantage, those dark emotions. However maybe it is a little childish to thumb your nose at an ex-boss because you landed a better job. But here's the thing. In the process of doing that, you improved yourself. You improved your station. You can hold your head up high and puff your chest out. Maybe a little chest thumping is appropriate to show them, you know what? Fire me, bad move. Or fire me, thank you, because it enabled me to get this better opportunity. But I think the key here is, and we've probably heard this if you've heard any of Anthony Robbins' presentations, is that sometimes people are more motivated from pain than they are to move towards pleasure. They want to move away from the pain much quicker than they want to move towards the pleasure. So that's one of the opportunities of these dark thoughts. These thoughts of anger and jealousy and angst creep up and afford you an opportunity to leverage them into what we'll coin the phrase of dark motivation in this sense. Spicing up your motivation with these feelings is like, adding a pre-workout drink to your workout routine, right? I know my wife and I work out, and she frequently drinks one of those pre-workout powders and mixes it with the water to make it a little more effective, a little more to get that milk a little bit more of the juice out of that workout, and it can be very effective. But again, just like those workout powders, it can be harmful if you use too much. You see, because if you're constantly going out there and comparing yourself and letting that jealousy, that anxiousness, that insecurity take over your life, you're probably going to face some of those mental problems that I asked you about a little earlier. You're probably going to face some stumbles, bumbles, trips, and falls. They're going to be much bigger than if you just use it to juice your motivation and then let it go. Because here's the deal. You do not need to compare yourself to other people. You don't have to care about their achievements versus yours, right? That confidence that you need is going to come from inside you, not from outside there, right? What things have you done? Little things, big things, small things, teensy, tiny little things that you've done that make you feel good. Who cares about what everyone else out there thinks? You don't need to prove yourself to them. You're not here to prove yourself to them. You're here to look at what you were yesterday, and if you are an infinitesimal amount better than you were yesterday, smile. Hold your head up high. If you're in the same place that you were yesterday, smile. Hold your head up high, because guess what? You didn't fall backwards, and you have the opportunity to move forwards. Now, if you're in a worse place than you were yesterday, smile, hold your head up high, because you just realized it, and you can now take that step forward. Now, while finding motivation in your darkness is beneficial, I want you to remember to only use it every now and again. Much like I talked about the pre-workout drink. Too much? Not good. And you got to find that right balance. And perhaps as you're laying in bed, sitting on the couch, sitting behind your desk, looking at that blank screen with that little cursor blinking at you, almost taunting you as you get some sort of writer's block, creative blankness going through your head, maybe you dig deep into your mind. Find that little morsel of uncertainty or jealousness or jealousy or anxiousness that you can use to motivate you. Then, once it motivates you and you get going and you start rocking and rolling, smile and realize, you know what? That one thing that was bad, I just turned it into something good, and you can let it go. It might feel a little uncomfortable for a little while, but here's the thing, and you're going to know this, you're going to nod with me on this one. Nothing great in your life, in my life, or in anyone's life comes without effort. You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. I believe it was Jackson Milan that said that in one of our episodes not too long ago. Yeah, it was Jackson back in episode 210. But anyway, here's the deal. We all have some darkness, and it could be anything, right? Maybe you have some parts of your past you're not proud of. I put them out there so people can't use them against me. Maybe you have some insecurities you're dealing with, some underlying emotions that you have that you could use as dark motivation. So why not go ahead and use them to your advantage? Use them to propel you forward. Learn to control them in a way that it doesn't bother you in your everyday life, but you can expose them whenever you need to. The very first episode I did of this podcast was taking my dark times and just airing them, sharing them with you all. That was my way of using my darkness, my dark times, as a motivator, and hopefully as a way to motivate you. It's like, damn, he went through all that and he's doing this now. I can do that, not a problem. See, those are some of the best ways you can use your dark motivation to your advantage. So with a little practice, you can channel those darker thoughts, those negative emotions, and flip them into bursts of motivation. And guess what? Here's the thing. You'll eventually be grateful for having them. It will make looking back at some of those bad times, at some of those negative feelings that you've had across your lifespan, a little easier. Heck, I even believe it'll make it a whole lot easier. Probably make you a lot happier person as a result. Now, once again, let's be careful here. We want to apply them in doses, right? In small, controllable doses so they don't harm the overall quality of your life, your relationships, your business, your spirituality, or anything else. But you just want to use them to move yourself forward. That's what we're all here for, isn't it? All right. Alrighty, well, that wraps up another amazing week here at the Dark Horse HQ. I know you want to keep getting all these solo success episodes as well as the amazing guests I'm able to bring on and share their tips and thoughts and strategies with you and their stories, right? Again, go on down there, hit that subscribe button, leave us a 5-star rating, and drop us some kind words in the reviews. Make suggestions, ask questions. Again, I read every single one of those reviews. I'll be happy to turn your questions into a podcast episode. And really, the core of this is it's those subscribes, ratings, and reviews are your way of telling all those podcast platforms out there that you are getting the value, and they should lift us up a little bit in the rankings so that we can reach more driven entrepreneurs just like yourself. So please take a moment, show the love, and help spread the word. Alrighty, you get out there, you run your race, you get your results, and then come let me hear about them. Heck, put them in those comments. Send me an email, Tracy at darkhorseschooling.com. But in the meantime, and until next time, think successfully and take action.
Thank you for listening to the Dark Horse Entrepreneur Podcast.
And you know this!
Thanks for tuning in.
Check us out at www.darkhorseschooling.com.
All right.
My name is Tracy Brinkman.